being part of the gay community or the LGBTQ plus community to me is one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life.
Hi everyone, welcome to After Hours. It's a fun historical debrief and game show where we ask some of the most prominent queer icons in DC, their hottest gossip, and their wise advice. Today we are joined by Metropolitan Capitolite member, Clubhouse founder, and president, John Eddy. John, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. So you moved to DC in 1955 at 10 years old. When did you start to become involved in the gay queer community in DC?
Well, when I was in my first year of high school and my sister was in her last year of junior high school, I came home one day and I saw this kid in the living room. So I said to my mama, "Who's that in the living room?" So my mother said, "What? What are you talking about? That's your sister's boyfriend." I said, "Oh my God, okay." So fast forward 6 years later, a lesbian who I worked with invited me to a party. So she told me, "Look, it's going to be a mixed party. There'll be girls dancing with girls, guys with guys, and girls and boys. You think you can handle it?" So I was curious. I said, "Yeah, I think I can handle it." So I went to the party and I became a wallflower. And then they put this record on that was a slow record. It lasted 6 minutes plus. And it's called, which I'll never forget the name of it, "Stay in My Corner." And I was just beginning to listen to the record and somebody tapped me on my shoulder and said, "Would you like to dance?" Now I knew it was a guy by his voice. And then I said, "Well, I came to a party, so I supposed to participate." So I said, "Well, this is going to be my first dance with a guy, so let me try it." And when I turned around, it was my sister's boyfriend. The same one who I had called her 6 years earlier.
You clocked him quick.
And so we danced and danced, and we became lovers.
That's so sweet. And such a fun, how did your sister react to that?
Well, she did not find out until about maybe 9 months later. He lived over on 15th Street. And I used to go there every Friday with my little suitcase of clothes and leave from his house on Monday to go to work. And what I didn't know was my sister's best girlfriend lived in the building. He lived on the top floor. She lived like the middle floor. So she called my sister up. She said, "You know, your brother comes over here every weekend." And I've been seeing him about for the last 3 or 4 months, every weekend going upstairs. And, oh, by the way, do you know Rodney lives upstairs? So my sister said, "No, why is he coming over there and spending the weekends with Rodney?" So she called me up about 3 o'clock in the morning. She called me Junior. My family called me Junior. "Junior, you know, God does not like your lifestyle." And I said, "I tell you what, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I want you to call God and tell him to call me. If he's got your number, he's got mine too," and hung up.
But you were sort of able to kind of find that like found family with sort of the Metropolitan Capitolites, would you say?
Yes, more or less. Yes, they more or less became my family, and we did a lot of things together besides have parties every other Saturday.
Right. And you, once the house party started to get a little bit too crowded, a little bit too popular, y'all decided to open the Zodiac Den.
We knew nothing about running a bar. We were totally blank. We knew nothing about inventory. We knew nothing about bartending. All we knew how to do was play music. And we had 2 turntables, a DJ booth. And so we had to learn everything.
And so you went from Zodiac Den, moved upstairs, had Third World, and then y'all decided to have a 10 times bigger space and take over this massive warehouse Clubhouse. How did that transition like your life and change your life? Whether that be like the workload you then had to take on, but then just the community that the Clubhouse created.
The Clubhouse, of course, upended my life because I was already working a full-time job. And now I'm working another full-time job. So just about every moment I had was either Clubhouse, at the Clubhouse, or at home doing Clubhouse work.
Well, one thing from our initial interview that I loved that we talked about was the different kind of themed party nights that you had. And would love to talk about maybe some of your favorite themed party nights that you were able to be a part of, that you were able to see, or some that you thought had like the best reaction to. I know JJ mentioned the pajama parties. We talk about later in our episode 3, which will be out next week, about the blackout parties, stuff like that.
One special party, which was a, what was it called? Auction, slave auction.
Oh, I remember you talking about this.
Where the girls could buy girls or the guys could buy guys, and they have to stay with them for 3 or 4 hours, and we roped them together.
Oh my, you roped them together.
They had to go around and stay together for 3 or 4 hours, and they'd have to pay $10.
Oh, only $10 for 4 hours?
Yeah, $10. But back then, $10 was a lot of money.
Okay.
So we said, oh, I like her. $10. And we'd have volunteers to be slaves.
Really?
Lots of volunteers to be slaves. We never had to go out and solicit. We had lots of girls and lots of guys who volunteered to be slaves.
And it was successful?
They're very successful. We donated the money to local gay charities.
Wow. I think that's maybe one of the craziest parties
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard of.
That was one of the craziest parties. But it was interesting.
Yeah. Something to bring people in something different.
Especially, you know, if a girl saw a particular girl that she liked and she didn't know how to approach her.
It was a way to be brave.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of folks got closer.
Being tethered together for 4 hours, you're going to be close by the end of it, no matter what.
Yeah, so that was one of the more successful events that I liked.
How often did you all do that?
Once a year.
Once a year, okay.
Yeah. We didn't like to overdo those type of things. So even the pajama parties, once a year.
So everyone came out.
Everybody came out or tried to come out, one or the other.
So just to kind of give people a little bit more perspective of the space that Clubhouse was like, we created a little segment called A Person Walks into Clubhouse. And so here's how it works. I'm going to toss you a character description of a person, and you'll tell me what happens next. Who notices this person? What kind of energy do they bring? And of course, what kind of drama did they bring into the space? So this is our first person. A shy kid from the suburbs, clutching a coat too big for them, walks into the Clubhouse for the first time. What happens next to this poor little fella?
Well, first of all, he might can't get in.
True.
Because you've got to have a membership to
Right.
get in or know somebody who is a member. And most likely he walked up and down the line and asked people, do you have a membership? Can I get in with your membership? And they probably looked at him and said, oh, I'll take this little cutie in with me. And he came in with his big coat. And normally he would be accepted right away. Because most likely who he came in with, he would stay with. They would take him over to the coat room, allow him to check that big coat. Then they'd take him out to the dance floor and start dancing with him. And he would become accustomed to the music and to the vibes and fit in.
Did you ever have people come to you at the end of the night and tell you that it was like their first time and tell you what it was like for them to be in that space for the first time?
I'm still having people tell me that to this day.
Wow.
I'm still having people tell me that the Clubhouse saved their lives. I had people who said they were about to commit suicide till they came to the Clubhouse and then enjoyed the energy and came back week after week. We had a coat room and we checked choir robes where people would come and dance and 6 or 7 in the morning, go put on their choir robes and go to church.
What do you think was so special about the Clubhouse that people just kept coming back? Like, what about that space that you created was life-saving for people?
Well, when we initially started the Clubhouse, we wanted to have a party that you couldn't have at home. I mean, we wanted you to be able to jump crazy, knock things down, be yourself. You know, that energy that you had pent up all week, we want you to release it. So I think most folks just enjoyed that alone, just to come and just really be themselves. And we helped you and create the vibes because at the beginning of the night, I'd make the staff go out with tambourines and things and shake them and get people dancing.
Yeah.
And I made the staff dance with customers at the beginning of the night.
So did you ever dance with any customers?
Yes.
Did you ever have any interesting or fun interactions with people when you were dancing with them?
No, because most folks did not know my position in the Clubhouse. I was the, what's that, the boss thing, the where you don't know who the boss is. What's that movie?
Oh, like Undercover
I
Boss.
was the undercover boss. Andre was our general manager.
Mm-hmm.
I was his boss, but most folks didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just observe where I see things wrong. I'd call Andre up, say, hey, you need to fix this, or I'd go to the manager and say, you need to fix this. Most folks did not know my position in the clubhouse.
Wow.
And I have always had to maintain my position that I did not interact with the customers on a personal basis.
Mm. So let's get to our next person. A Friday night regular who you said that's more of a straight night, a straight membership, joins a friend who comes on Saturday, which we know is a more queer LGBTQ night, not knowing that it was going to be a different crowd. What do you think their initial reaction would be to walking in from a Friday night to a Saturday night?
Well, first of all, they knew.
Okay.
Okay, because most likely the Saturday night person told them.
Right.
You know, you're coming, or they had heard about the Saturday night parties. We had a lot of Friday night people who wanted to come to Saturday night. Mm-hmm. We had situations where if New Year's fell on a Saturday, we had a problem because we had to have a party for the straight folks and we had to have a party for the gay folks. So what we generally did was separate the club because we had two different entrances. The straight folks would come in up the street from 1294. Their line would loop up the street. The gay folks' line would loop down the street to 1296. So we've had the straight folks knocking on the door to try to get in. So, of course, if that straight person came in with the gay person, he most likely would stay with the person during the night. He would dance with the person in the group with the people, and he would enjoy himself.
And you said on Friday nights there was more of like a dress code. You had to take care of people a little bit more. But on the Saturday nights,
come as you did.
Come as you are.
Yeah. And the reason why we had that, because we know in our community, we do not fight in our good clothes. So straight folks have a tendency to want to get drunk and fight. So if you come all dressed up, most likely not going to fight.
In a suit and tie, you don't want to punch anyone up. Exactly.
But on Saturdays, you can come as you dare or come in and strip after you get there.
Amazing. Okay, our last person is an ex of yours or a team member shows up unexpectedly. What's sort of the energy and response?
Well, thank God I never had an ex to show up, first of all. And second, we've had a lot of exes who would come. But most of the time, the exes would come and they would blend in. They would dance with their ex and their ex's piece. And so a lot of times, they would just blend in. There was never a fight, never an issue. They realized that's the ex and I've been replaced, so they enjoy themselves.
Amazing. Yeah. I think that's something that's special about the queer community is that if you're an ex, you're still in the family.
Yeah, you're still in the family, no grudges.
Exactly. So our next segment is all about trying to reveal some of the secrets of the clubhouse. In the classic game, Never Have I Ever, where we're gonna have you hold up these two paddles, yes for you have, and no for you haven't. I'll just ask you some fun questions about Clubhouse and we can see what juicy goss we can get out of you.
Okay.
Okay, so your first one. Never have I ever denied someone a membership because I simply didn't like their vibe.
Yes.
So when did you do this? What kind of vibe would make you go, we can't give them one?
Well, we had people who come who would not reveal their entire name or their address or why they wanted to be a membership for Saturday night or Friday night. And so we figured, well, person may not fit in. So we would tell them, well, come back in a month or two and be re-interviewed. Sometimes they came back, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they came back and got a membership. But it wasn't too many people we denied.
It was more of a person wasn't being honest about who they were.
Being honest, and we, during that period of time, of course, we had to be very cautious also about, because of a lot of people, we had married people coming up in there. We had lots of bisexuals coming up in there. We didn't allow cameras. So because we knew people had their secrets, and back there in 75, 80, it was anti-gay.
Right. So you had to protect your space.
We had to protect our community.
All right, next one. Never have I ever flirted with a patron or club goer. Never.
Never.
Even when you were at the Zodiac Den or at Third World, never?
Never. I've always believed in maintaining a separate. Not that I didn't want to, but I didn't.
Did you ever go to other bars?
Yes, I went to other bars.
What were some of those other
And
bars?
also people who I later dated came to the Clubhouse, but I never met anyone or participated with any of the staff or anybody.
Okay, next one. Never have I ever lied about bar capacity or permits. Never.
Never. We had what you call a public hall license, which means you could be open 24/7. Since we didn't sell any liquor, we had beer on Friday nights and some special parties, but then we went and got a special called Class D license to sell the beer, but we had to stop selling it by 2. But we never had fire inspectors. I don't know why I just thought about that. We never had fire inspectors. We only had one inspection when we went to open, and that was the electricians came to inspect. We never had the health department. None of those things.
In your whole...
In 15 years.
Wow.
So somebody was watching out for us. We ran a tight ship.
Tight ship. Amazing.
Remember, sometimes we've had up to 4,000 people in there. We have never called the police in 15 years for anybody or anything. We had our own internal security force, and we controlled everything. But by being membership, we let the members or potential members know up front, if you mess up, we take in your membership, and you can't come back again.
And do you think that's what really protected the space?
That helped protect, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, next one. Never have I ever threatened to ban someone. It was still that, like, everyone was just
everyone was on their
they
P's
behaved.
and Q's. Yes.
Because they just loved the space so much they didn't want to threaten their membership or
Their
status.
membership and their friends were coming.
Right.
So they wanted to be with their friends.
I think that's very unique out of most clubs for you guys to be able to say that it was such a safe space, truly, that people could come and be there and
be
never
themselves.
had any
Right.
issues.
Correct.
That's amazing. Okay. Never have I ever let someone into the club for free or without a membership. You have. When did you do this?
I did it a few times. For example, we'd have people come from out of town and they'd show me an out of town ID. So I let them in. Or we've had people I could look at, younger people, and see that this may be their first time and they're trying to feel their way around. So I let them in.
Just to kind of be like,
Just
come on
to-
in.
Yeah, come on in and check it out. If you like it, then make a reservation with one of your friends who have a membership and come back for an interview.
That's lovely. Okay, last one. Never have I ever stayed up more than 24 hours to work or party at the Clubhouse. So when was this? Was it a typical week or was it rare?
We've had several parties I've had to stay up. We had a contest once a year, which was called Outlast the DJ, which means as long as there was 100 people dancing on the floor, we kept playing music. Now, if the DJ got tired and couldn't play anymore, we had to pay everybody on the floor $100.
Now, did anyone ever beat the DJ?
No, because we offered him $500. So therefore, he had a bathroom break, but he had to take the bathroom break while the music was playing. He couldn't stop the music. So we always offered him $500 because we knew with 1,100 people out there, that's a lot more money. So that would normally, I'd get there midnight and maybe leave midnight the next night.
People would last that long?
People would last to 4 or 5.
That's crazy. Yeah. The commitment. Our viewers have left you a couple of voicemails asking for your help or just some advice that you think that you could give them. So let's listen to the first one and let's see what brilliant insight that you can give them.
Hi, my question is, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
My advice to my 18-year-old self is enjoy life to its fullest. Don't get depressed. Don't get bored. And don't give a damn about whatever people think of you.
That's good. What do you do to not stay bored? What do you do when you needed something to do? How did you invigorate yourself?
I seem to be self-motivated. Yeah, I don't ever recall being depressed. I always seem to find something to do to entertain myself.
Do you think that's just because of the way you are or being in DC because there's so many things to do here?
A combination of the two. I'm a Leo. And, you know,
That explains it.
we're all about getting out, doing something, having fun, creating a business, et cetera, et cetera.
Amazing. Okay, let's listen to maybe one or two more.
Hello, Queering the District. I just graduated and am in the emotional whiplash that comes with erasing my queerness in professional spaces. What's your experience with that? Do you have self-care tips for reclaiming your wholeness outside of work and being fully seen? Thank you.
Now, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Well, first of all, I don't believe you can erase yourself, especially in this day and age. And you know, I always wanted somebody to challenge me, to ask me, was I gay? And it never happened. In both my professional side as a manager in the Postal Service, as well as in the gay side. So I kind of think if you just be yourself and do what you want to do, people will ignore it. As long as you're not flamboyant and trying to be somebody you're not. Most of the time, people will avoid asking you that question. Now, I travel all over the world, and there's many clubs, gay clubs, that I go to, they stop me at the door. And I have to prove through certain things that I can do that I'm gay, that I can get in.
Did you ever have in the workplace that you felt like you couldn't say a certain word or act in a way that you felt like was being yourself, but you felt like you had to maintain that sense of professionalism?
Even maintaining that professionalism, I was just being myself. And I worked for the Postal Service, a mid-level manager out of headquarters. And I've traveled to 48 of the 50 states training people, and I've trained up to 400 or 500 people at a time in each state.
Wow.
So I've had all types of people, all kind of genre that would come in, and I just was myself.
That's amazing. Let's listen to one.
And I was hoping somebody would question me. I've always wanted to say I'm gay, but I've never had the opportunity to say that.
I feel like when I was first coming out, that was something I struggled with, was that I was like, I remember I was at a party and I was sitting down and I thought I put on like the gayest outfit I could ever put on. I was like, I looked myself in the mirror, I was like, she's so gay. Like, there's no way you can't walk. I sat down and someone was talking and I mentioned like, oh, a girl. And they went, oh, you're gay? I never would have guessed. And my heart broke to pieces.
Well, it's almost like me. I've always wanted somebody to challenge me.
Yeah.
And nobody never challenged me, other than Rodney.
Other than Rodney. John is going to leave us a message on our Baritol After the Beep hotline, Fifi. So without further ado, take us home, John, with a voicemail about your favorite DC memory.
Okay. One of my most favorite events was not at the Clubhouse parties, but we did something unusual once. We had a Mother's Day affair at the Clubhouse where we invited all the members to bring their mothers and grandmothers. It was a very highly successful event to the point that we did it every year thereafter.